Okay, so I finished about one side of that with the shallow flat gouge. I'll bring that up here so you can kind of see. You see it's taken a lot of that roughness out of it from the initial making the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the other side, and then we can go ahead with actually modeling the leaf. You can see I've just used 3 tools to do this. Well, 4 if you include the mallet, right? And now that I'm actually finishing the ground on this side, I'm just going to come in and use hand pressure to carve this. And again, I'm going off of that initial scribe line I took around the outside of the carving at the beginning to establish that. And again, this is something that doesn't have to be perfect at this point. I'm just really just cleaning this up. I can actually come back over this later and take out any tear outs or anything like that. But right now, in order to make sure the depth is right for the relief, what I don't want is it shallower in one area and less shallow in another, so that we can so that I have the same height for the relief, so I can use the maximum amount of that relief to kind of make this carving a little punchy and flow a little bit. So again, I'm kind of bracing it. You can see this. That's kind of how I'm holding it right here. I'm using this finger underneath the chisel, and I come in on the side, and I'm just going to place that right above my line, right? And then that's kind of how I'm controlling that. And then this hand is, this one right here is pulling back as this one is pushing. So this left hand is actually providing the power, while this one is kind of pulling back and controlling. And that's how you actually have the most amount of control when you're actually using the chisel, pushing the chisel by hand, is having that chisel in tension. So that's just kind of one of the ways, but that's kind of a principle that you'll use throughout your carving, is that, because if I was just to do this, I don't really have a lot of control over where that chisel actually is going to stop. But for this, I can pull back, I can go a millimeter at a time if I wanted. I've got a lot of control over that chisel, and that's really kind of what we're aiming for here. So you'll find when you first start doing this that your hands are not used to gripping the chisel, the handle themselves, and like doing this sort of fine thing, unless you do a lot of woodworking or something that requires that strength in your hands and fingers. Like this muscle right here is actually pulling in, and then the muscles here that connect the hands. So they'll get tired, and you'll have to take some breaks. So that's just, you're just getting used to actually using your hands to do this sort of stuff. And you'll find you'll get stronger as you go along. But all right, so that's kind of where we're at right now. You can see it's a lot cleaner. Again, this is pine, so my tool has to be pretty sharp going through that. But so I've cleaned it up. So the next stage after that is going to be setting it in. And I'm going to try and just use the 2 tools that I have here to actually set this in. We'll see how that goes. I kind of suspect, because I made a pretty large sweep here, which might not line up exactly with this tool, but we'll see what we can do. Trying to keep it to just 3, so let's see if we can do it. So this next stage is called setting in. And I'm going to do basically what I'm just going to do is I'm going to come in towards my pencil line and cut straight down in order to outline the actual leaf. So I'm going to kind of work my way in towards that edge. And I'm coming right down to the area that I've just grounded out. Pause that here.